In today's video, we'll be highlighting 6 awesome new PlayStation 4 games coming in February of 2020. February is shaping up to be a pretty good month with 2 new exclusives, a bunch of remasters, and a pretty cool RPG to round things out. So without further ado, let's get right into it. And let's start with arguably the biggest game release of February 2020, and that is Dreams from Media Molecule. Yes, Dreams has been in early access for quite a while, but it finally comes out of early access into its full release on February 14th, and I am very much excited for Dreams. Media Molecule has been MIA in terms of releasing high-quality games for quite a while. Obviously, they put out Dreams in early access, but now we get a full release of Dreams. It's going to be on store shelves, and everybody's going to be able to check it out. And it is a game that, while I'm very excited for, I'm also a little bit skeptical. Dreams is one of those games that is incredibly ambitious, but that is the name of the game when it comes to Media Molecule. Little Big Planet was a game that I was looking forward to back in 2008, but in no world was I expecting the game to be as good as it was. And Dreams obviously is trying to take the creation aspect of gaming and what Media Molecule has done in the past, and they are amplifying it even more. Rather than creating environments and levels, you are going to be able to create your own games for others to play. Now, that sounds exciting. That also is going to make a lot of people skeptical. How would a game like that work? And honestly, the success of Dreams comes down to what the consumers and the gamers are able to whip up with the game and with the creation suite. Media Molecule's goal is to offer a variety of customization tools, and it does look like Dreams is going to be doing that. So far, what we've seen in the early access version of the game, there are a lot of cool stuff that has been released. However, I don't think we're seeing those games that we're going to get totally invested into. And yes, you can make the argument that Dreams is going to have a lot of value, and it absolutely will, because there's going to be so many games uploaded online. But I do also hope that there are compelling games released, that there are innovative games released, because ultimately, if the games are just something cool that you can look at for a little bit, but they aren't going to keep people hooked, I do think that they're going to move on from the game rather quickly. However, I am confident in Media Molecule. I think they're going to deliver something of quality, and we know that they have a 10-year vision for this game. This game is not going to be going away anytime soon. It's going to be a fixture on the PlayStation 4, on the PlayStation 5, and I really hope it turns out rather well, and I hope people are able to whip up really cool stuff with it. Alright, next up, Iron Man is making the transition to the video game realm with Marvel's Iron Man VR. So it is a VR game, which I think will inherently make some people disappointed. I mean, the numbers came out. They have sold 100+ million PlayStation 4 consoles and only 5 million PlayStation VR headsets, so you are gaining away a significant portion of the community that wants to play this game. However, VR needs compelling exclusives released if it does want to be a high-quality platform, and Iron Man VR does look like a good one. It notes Tony Stark has retired from making weapons and instead creates technology used to battle evil as Iron Man. After several years as a world-famous superhero, Tony is attacked by the mysterious Ghost, a hacker and anti-corporate activist who repurposes old Stark Industries weapons. In her effort to topple his empire, Ghost attacks Stark's corporate locations around the world, leading to ever-escalating stakes and a final showdown for Stark. It notes face off against one of Iron Man's greatest foe in high-stakes, action-packed battles. Upgrade tech in Tony Stark's garage to customize Iron Man's sleek armor and awesome abilities, and much more. This game is really going to be accentuated by PlayStation VR, and I do hope it turns out rather well, because we've seen the success of games like Marvel's Spider-Man, and while Iron Man VR isn't going to be as colossal of a release, it's still Iron Man, and there's definitely room for a high-quality Iron Man game, so let's hope that turns out well. Alright, next up we have Bayonetta being released on the PlayStation 4. This is of course done by Platinum Games, and it's a universally acclaimed action masterpiece, and it's finally coming to PS4. Bayonetta, the last survivor of an ancient witch clan who kept the balance between light, dark, and chaos, entombed to protect herself and the world as we know it. Bayonetta is discovered and revived after 500 years, sparking a chain of events with cataclysmic repercussions. Thrust straight into battle with only one clue to her past, Bayonetta must discover the truth and fight for her future. Her daunting conquest sees her face off against countless angelic enemies and giant foes in a game of 100% pure action. Bayonetta was a phenomenal game when it released on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 all the way back in early 2010, and now it makes the transition to the PlayStation 4. Better visuals, better performance, all that good stuff. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're ever going to get Bayonetta 2 and 3 on PlayStation platforms, just because they are Nintendo published games, but at least we can play through Bayonetta 1, and Bayonetta was a fantastic action-oriented title. If you're a fan of fast-paced action games like Devil May Cry and games of that nature, Bayonetta is going to be right up your alley, and it's going to release at a budget price point of $19.99, so it makes it all the much better. Next up, another Platinum Games remaster is coming out in February, and that is Vanquish. Platinum Games' revolutionary sci-fi action shooter side boosts onto PlayStation 4 battle legions of future tech enemies using a vast arsenal of weapons, including all of the DLC, fully unlocked frame rate. The game notes its fast, fluid, and frenetic combat. Platinum Games brings their signature action mechanics to the shooter genre, boosting, evading, augmented reaction mode, and much more. Now, Vanquish was a game that some people did have their issues with back in 2010 as well when it released. It was a rather short game, even shorter than Bayonetta, and you can blitz through it rather quickly. However, it's fast-paced, it's high-octane, and the gameplay is absolutely tremendous. Now, it should be noted, the story isn't anything to write home about, and honestly, it's a little bit laughable on that end, just because it is so corny, but Vanquish was such a good game. And again, there's another game that's now releasing at $19.99. You can pick up both Bayonetta and Vanquish for $40 in a bundle that also includes a steelbook, but they are releasing separately as well, so if you do want to pick up one over the other, you have that option as well. Both games are tremendous, and if you're into action games, Vanquish is definitely going to be a title to check out. It's a Platinum Games release, and they usually fall in line rather well. Alright, next up, here's one that I am very much excited for, the Mega Man Zero and ZX Legacy Collection. This was originally scheduled for a release in January, but it got pushed back until February 25th, and this is a loaded bundle. Of course, Capcom has been doing a phenomenal job with all of their games, and especially with the Mega Man collections, and Mega Man in general has been revitalized to a great degree. We had the Mega Man Anniversary collections, we had the Mega Man X collections, and now Mega Man Zero is making a comeback, and alongside that, Mega Man ZX is also making a comeback. So this is $30, and you get a whopping 6 games, Mega Man Zero 1, 2, 3, and 4, as well as Mega Man ZX and ZX Advent. The collection also features Z Chaser, an exclusive new mode created just for this set of games. Mega Man Zero 1 through 4 were released on the Game Boy Advance, while ZX and ZX Advent were Nintendo DS titles, so obviously, visually, they're not going to be anything to write home about, but if you're excited for Mega Man releases, visuals are probably not the imperative that you're worried about. You're just worried about high-quality, side-scrolling action, and Mega Man Zero and ZX are going to have that covered in spades. It should be noted that Mega Man Zero 1 through 4 are pretty challenging games. ZX and ZX Advent are a little bit easier, but at the same time, they do feature bigger worlds, and the games don't hold your hand much, so that is a little bit of a bummer, but still, these games are fantastic, and to get 6 games for just $30, that is going to be a terrific price point. Now, let's see what Capcom's got in the works in the background as far as a new Mega Man game. Could they be working on Mega Man X9? Could they be working on a new Mega Man Zero? That is stuff we have still yet to hear about, but for now, you can be excited for the Mega Man Zero and ZX Legacy Collection as it drops February 25th. And lastly, we have Darksiders Genesis, a hack-and-slash dungeon-crawling RPG. Darksiders Genesis gives players their first look at the world of Darksiders before the events of the original game. Furthermore, it introduces the fourth and last horseman in Strife, as well as co-op gameplay for the first time in the history of the franchise. This game actually released back in December on PC, and it was received very, very well. 2,786 Steam user reviews, 87% positive, and a solid 78 on Metacritic. Darksiders Genesis is noted to be an action-adventure game that tears its way through the hordes of demons, angels, and everything in between on its way to hell and back. With guns blazing and sword swinging, Genesis gives players their first look at the world of Darksiders before the events of the original game. Furthermore, it introduces Strife as well as co-op gameplay for the first time in the history of the franchise. The game notes blast angels and demons as the gunslinging horseman Strife playable for the first time, swap between the powerful swordsman War and Strife instantly in frenetic single-player gameplay, explore the epic world of Darksiders and wreak havoc with a friend in 2-player cooperative mode, experience a brand new story campaign that takes place before the original Darksiders, exploring the origin of the Seven Seals, and grow in strength and power as you collect items, abilities, weapon enhancements, creature cores, and more. If you're a fan of Darksiders, this is definitely going to be a game to check out, even though it is a departure from your traditional Darksiders gameplay, and if you're just getting into Darksiders for the first time, this wouldn't be an awful starting point, given that it does feature a different gameplay style, and it takes place prior to the events of the first Darksiders, and it did release at $29.99, so that's going to be a great price point as well. And Darksiders Genesis hits the PlayStation 4 on February 14th. And that's going to conclude this video. Again, while I wouldn't say that February is going to be as big of a month as some of the later months this year in March, April, and May, it's still going to boast some high-quality releases. 2 PlayStation 4 exclusives with Dreams and Marvel's Iron Man, Bayonetta, and Vanquish make their way to the PS4. Mega Man Zero and ZX Legacy Collection is an incredible value, and Darksiders Genesis is going to be a great release as well. That's going to conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.